Hi everyone, welcome back to Financial Tech Lab. In our last video, we did a video about how to set up one of the QuickBooks alternatives that we've been reviewing, and that is Puzzle. And today I'm going to show you guys how to do 1 month of bookkeeping in Puzzle. So if you have been exploring different options for QuickBooks Online and you're thinking, hey, maybe this is not for me anymore and I want to check things out, you are in the right place, because here at Financial Tech Lab, we are reviewing lots of different financial software, and currently we are in a general ledger series, which would be similar to the type of software that QuickBooks is. General ledgers are the type of software that is going to hold all of your financial transactions in your business and be able to produce things like your financial reports for your taxes at the end of the year, and also just for running and managing your business. So Puzzle is the general ledger software. And so we are going to hop in right now, and I'm going to show this to you guys. We have already done the setup. Like I said, we've looked at the chart of accounts, and now we are going to look at coding the transactions, because in order to finish the month of bookkeeping, we need to code all of the transactions, make sure that they are in the proper categories, and then we need to reconcile the books and then kind of look at the reports from there. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, here we are in Puzzle, and this is the dashboard. So down here in the financial statements, what you can also see is like similar to this little circle status. You can see that across all of the months up here. Now it's saying that everything, like most things are categorized, but not everything is finalized. So basically the entire year of transactions has not yet been finalized. So we're gonna go down now to the accounting section on the left-hand side, click transactions, and then we're gonna go into bank and credit cards. Okay, so a little bit about how Puzzle works here. Puzzle makes working with transactions easy. It's saying, okay, it automatically categorizes most of your transactions, which is given a category, that's what they mean. And then it's been marked as suggested over here. And then it learns from your behavior as time goes on and creates categorization rules, which are going to show up here under PuzzleBot rules over here. And then it also enables you to assign transactions to others if you need help. So if you have other people on your team and somebody else is in charge of it, you are able to do that as well. So we are looking at this. Now, one thing I noticed when I was on this screen is I don't see any clear way to look at one bank account at a time. Like if I just wanted to only look at one of the bank accounts, for example. Now I can filter here. I'm gonna go to year to date because I'm looking at the full year. And then when I go to view, I can go to source, I bet. And this is gonna tell me, yeah, okay. So this is telling me which account it's coming from. So that's good. I am able to see which account it's coming from. I think that's kind of important if you like want to just look at one versus the other, but it's not too important for me right now. I just wanted to make sure that there's some indicator that we could do that. So if you want to turn and toggle some things on and off here, there's lots of options. So, okay, and then I want to filter, we have all the transactions year to date, and then I'm gonna close this since I've already talked to you guys about that, and it gives me more screen view to look at everything. And right now I have 100 transactions per page. I'm gonna go back, I think also, let's see, if I go here, I can flip this so that I can have the dates in ascending order, like starting with the oldest and going older, but no results found. Why did that happen? Sort by date ascending. Okay. Not sure why no results would be found. Maybe we'll get my transactions back and then not mess with it. Okay, well, that's strange. I'm not gonna mess with that. We're gonna go and just look at the older transactions, start at the bottom and work our way up. Okay, so starting in January, I'm going to just probably do January because I actually need to train this model. So I didn't want to do a couple months and then have all of the training already happen, because I think part of doing the month of bookkeeping for you guys is going to be like, if you're getting started with it, you're going to have to kind of train the system to get going. And then I am kind of thinking about this in comparison to the other, AI enabled, AI forward accounting, GL software that we're looking at. And in my head, I'm kind of comparing whether or not this is easier or harder. So just something to kind of think about. So I can also collapse this little sidebar, which is nice because I like to see everything on my screen. And I am using a laptop screen in front of me. So, you know, it's not as big as like I have a larger screen over here on the side that I can spread everything out. But like if you just have a laptop or a smaller screen, it's nice to know that you can see everything you need to see. So under vendor, we're always going to categorize the vendor. We're just going to start with the oldest transaction first. So the first thing I'm going to look here is to see if Relay has been added already into the system. It has not. I'm going to add this. This is interest, so this is technically Relay as a customer. You are not a part of a company that owns this company. Well, I have no idea what that means. Can I? Oh, interesting. Okay, that is a super strange error message. I've never seen such a thing before in my life, and that is a note for puzzle team. Fix that. I don't know what that's all about. Okay, so these are both interest income. One was properly categorized in the with the suggestions, and then one was not. So I'm just going to type in interest and dividends, interest and dividends. You are not part of a company that owns this transaction. I'm not sure why I would be getting that error message. And then now, okay, I'm taking a screenshot and I'm sending this to the puzzle team because I don't understand. Let's see if we can get some support here. So after doing a little bit of research, I went and I had chatted with the help and tried to find an answer. The answer that the support was giving me was not actually the issue. What I ended up doing was actually logging out of the system and logging back in. And then I checked again to see if bank feeds were working and I wasn't getting that error message. And that error message is now gone and I'm now able to work in it. Now, I will say, that is pretty frustrating if you're trying to get in and do some work and maybe you have a specific amount of time you're trying to do your bookkeeping, and when you get hit with these like roadblocks again and again, that's not something that I'm looking for in my bookkeeping solution. So I have sent feedback to the puzzle team and they are getting the video of me with the error message so that hopefully they can figure out what's going on and that will not be an issue in the future. But I did want to tell you guys that because I think that this is part of Financial Tech Lab, is we are testing things and we're going to have some errors here and there, and we're going to have, you know, real users like experiencing real things on this channel. So I want you guys to have like a good experience and understand what you're going to get into. So now we are back into puzzle. We are back into the transactions for January, and we're going to go through and do the month of January. So what you need to do in order to get the transaction finalized, because as it's in all of these items right now that are here, if they have a category or however they've been categorized, is basically what the accounting record is showing. So again, unlike QuickBooks where you have to take something from a bank feed and pull it into the register by assigning it, pairing it, matching it, you know, kind of adding it to the record. This is similar to how Kick was also doing it, is that the transactions are already part of the financial record, but we need to go in and we need to finalize them to say like, yes, we're comfortable that the books are done. Okay. So it looks, I mean, it's interesting that like all these different companies have different approaches. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through and then we're going to start training the model a little bit. So January, interestingly, these first two transactions here are both from Relay, both say interest, and one of them was auto-categorized to interest and dividend, and then one was categorized as uncategorized revenue. So I'm not sure why the system, especially an AI approach in the system, would identify these things as two separate things. You'll see this little thing that says user over here because I actually went ahead and categorized it and then categorized it back to what the system originally did. And I'm going to show you guys how I knew that. So if you can click on any line item at any point in time, it does have a nice little audit record down here at the bottom. So the Puzzlebot suggested uncategorized revenue when it first came in. And then I went in and I was playing around with it. So I changed the vendor to relay, then I changed the categorization, then I changed it back to uncategorized revenue as I was like, getting ready for this video. So I do like this audit record. I think that's really nice. And then anything here, like you can split a transaction, you can create a rule directly from here. You can do lots of stuff. But what we're going to do, you don't have to click on it to do just the basic categorization. So what we're going to do is go ahead and give it, we're going to do relay is the customer because it's income. I'm going to do it for both of these since they're right next to each other. And then I do want this to go into that interest account. So interest and dividend. So I could type in interest or I could type in the number if I know the number. And then now, this I really don't like. It just jumped me to the first page and I did not click on it. So really don't like that. I like to be able to work in the system and just go transaction by transaction. I did not click anything to have it go back to the other one. So we're going to pay attention to that. I'm going to go ahead and finalize these records, finalize that transaction and finalize that transaction. Now I gave this feedback to Puzzle when I first talked to them because I don't necessarily like this green already checked box at the side. That makes my brain think that this is already finalized. It's checked off, it's done, it's been reviewed. But that is not how they see it. You have to go and actually click the green checkbox to tell you that it's actually done. And then if you want to undo the transaction, you can do the little undo button. So to me, that kind of doesn't work very well in my brain. I can get used to it if I was using it all the time, but I just wanted to point that out that like, I think it's a little odd that that is their finalized mechanism is that. Okay, so, and then let's keep going. Chase, this is a credit card payment. I don't have the Chase credit card connected to this account. So this is gonna show up in, also another thing I don't like is that I can't hover over this to see the full name of this account, and I'm not familiar with these account names. So now I'm having to kind of like redo, oh, there we go. I can't tell if this is maybe my computer or if this is maybe everybody's user experience, but I do feel like there's a delay in, some of these things like grabbing things and moving things around, even the drag, like this, I don't think it's me because I'm not like holding on to anything. I really think this is a software issue. My computer's been working fine all morning. I don't think this is me, but it does just seem like there's a lag. Now I can drag this, but it feels like this software is very laggy. And again, I've been having lots of issues. So, you test it out for yourself and see if it's maybe just my computer. My computer sounds fine right now. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but I haven't had any other issues with any other software. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and finalize this payment because we don't have that connected. If I imagine it would identify a transfer. We're gonna see some transfers above here, so we'll see. Okay, and then Stripe, this is coming in from product revenue. This was an actual thing that I already categorized, and so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now, for these things that are user categorized, I believe now I should be able to find that under rules and then Puzzlebot rules. Yeah, here's that Stripe transfer. I don't see that relay got put in here. So I'm not exactly sure why that was not a rule that was created. Okay, and this is another thing that I don't really like is it's pulling me back over here to, so first of all, it took a long time for my kind of mouse to activate again so I could actually click on something. And now I have to go back to where I was because when I clicked over into rules to show you guys that, I got kicked all the way back out to a default view. And here we are again. Okay, so So far, not so good. It's basically the short answer here. Let's keep going. I created this owner's distribution account. Now I do want to have another account. We're going to add for tax distributions, and then we're going to make it this is equity. I don't like that these are not, these are in alphabetical order, not in the order of the balance sheet, which is strange, the balance sheet. I'm just going to put it to that. Still don't know what currentness means in the context of setting up an account. I mean, I would imagine like if you're setting up a current, like an asset account or a liability account, maybe it's like, is it current or is it long-term? Maybe that's what they're looking at there. An account type is equity. So let's just connect, submit. Okay, quite a long time here to just create an account. Okay, new account has been added, that's great. And then, and then now I'm kicked back again to not the page that I was on. Wow. Owner distribution tax, that's the new account that I just set up. And then I'm finalizing this transaction. This is saying it's linked. Okay, this was the tax savings account. So tax money was moved from the tax to the operating account, which is this one. And it's saying it's been linked here. I'm gonna leave that. It's not giving me an option to do anything anyway. So that's fine. And then there was a draw here. And let's do that. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe it. It's literally every time I'm changing a category, it's kicking me into another page. That is really frustrating. Like even before I finalize the transaction. Okay, we're gonna keep going on this because like I said before, I'm not a quitter. There's not that many transactions here and this is driving me crazy. Okay, so Intuit, I already saved this as, or I already identified this as a merchant service fee. This is a processor fee. Let's try this time to see if we can actually create a rule. Now it's telling me to edit the rule. It's a transaction rule, contains Intuit, amount is less than, I'm gonna say if it's less than 30 or $20, it's typically a merchant service fee. And then the category will be, okay, let's see if that did it. So it says it may take several minutes to update the category for any applicable transactions. All right, so maybe we're just being too fast for the system. I'm just saying that some of the competitors are not having this type of lag, okay? So we can finalize it from here. Let's see if this happens. Again, here I am in January. I just moved this to processor fee. I set up a rule. We're gonna finalize the transaction. Okay, now here's an income services. That all looks good. Let's do that. Here's that linked transaction with the transfer. That's good. I properly identified that. Okay, hopefully we're cooking along here a little bit better. So, you know, Stripe transactions. There's no reason why Stripe should not be identified at this point because we have a rule. Now, I know this is going to kick me out, but if I go to the Puzzlebot rules here, I have a Stripe. Now it says Stripe transfer. Do I need to edit this? So this might be our issue, is that it was too specific. It said the description contains Stripe transfer. I don't know if anybody else starts to feel this, and maybe I'm in the wrong line of work, but sometimes software can cause internal rage, and this is bringing some rage. Maybe I need to do some more work and talk to a therapist about this. But okay, here I am with like stripe transfer. So the description matches what we're talking about. Then I go to the rule, and this rule was actually set up a couple days ago, so I don't think we can give it the benefit of the doubt saying like, oh, maybe it just hasn't been applied yet. So stripe transfer equals, it should be showing up as product revenue. I do not know. Modify and convert to active rule. Okay, maybe we just needed to make it an active rule. Maybe it's only doing that for new stuff. I don't know, that's confusing to me. Okay, let's do this. We're starting on January 1, 2026. Let's go and see if that helps us. Okay, we have a rule here and here. So it looks like it's doing something. Okay, so that, I think we identified that if we want to set it up as a rule and we want it to go back historically, then we need to activate it and give it that start date. I'm comfortable with that. I just don't think that was very clear. And what a lot of other companies are doing is that when you identify something, like I believe this was Kick that did this, and maybe even Count, when you were changing something popped up at the bottom and said, we've identified another 30 transactions like this. Would you like us to apply this rule? And you click yes, and then it's all done, okay? So Puzzle could do that as well, which would have clarified that issue, because I thought I was doing the work that I already needed to, because I thought I was training the model. And so I can understand that I might be training the future model from like that point on, anything new that comes into the system, but they should give you the option to say like, hey, do you want us to identify stuff, or do you want us to code things that are already in the system, right? So that's just like a usability thing that would be very helpful. So now look, some of my work is already done for me, and that's what we're trying to get to, is like making this easier, right? So we're finalizing this, I'm just gonna go ahead and finalize the Stripe transaction up here as well. These are all like, maybe we can set up. And then with this one, I actually do want to set up a rule because this transaction happens. So create a rule. And then I always say it's better to put contains than it is to put exact, because sometimes they change like the actual wording. And we're going to start that at the beginning. Okay. All right. So I'm doing the work here. Like, I think that's one thing that I was hoping to have a little bit more of, like the AI doing the work here, but I'm doing a lot of the work to code this, and this does not feel any different, except for the fact that it's a little more cumbersome from some of the other services that we've seen. Okay, and for some reason that rule is not even applying. So maybe we'll come back to it and see if it shows up. Okay, we're finally done with the month of bookkeeping. Phew. I mean, at least done with like the transactions. That took way too long. I'm just gonna start with that because I know it was like our first month of bookkeeping, but I was having to do way too much training for that. That just took too long. Okay, so once you're done with your month of bookkeeping, in order to finalize your books, you do need to reconcile them. So what you would do is you would go in here and we would actually do the reconciliation. So I'm gonna go ahead and just click finalize here. Okay, so since the beginning balance was pulled in and we had, it pulled in like a full year of transactions before that. Basically, all I had to put in was the ending balance for this month. There's 0 differences 0 differences noted. And I can manually upload the statement here. Now it's interesting that they're wanting me to upload the statement like after the fact, because that means it's not like using technology to read the statement and pull it in on its own. So I still have to type in the ending balance and the date. Now that's okay. And it's done all the calculation to see has everything been included in the record, and then nothing is different. So I'm just going to click complete. Okay. So that's fine. Just, some of these technologies now, they want you to pull in a statement and they're going to read the data for you. But that's not the case here with Puzzle. So you would do that for all the accounts. We're not going to do that in this case. But once all the accounts are reconciled, then you can go and actually use it to start pulling your reports. Okay, so there's no reporting button over here on the left-hand side. So I kind of looked for it. I couldn't find it. So I can only see, okay, here we have you can do analysis on the left-hand side, and then you have your cash activity, profit and loss, and balance sheet over here on the financial statement side. So let's kind of just look real quick if we just want to look at, let's look at the month of January to January. Okay, so what it's telling us here is that the 100% is categorized and 96% is finalized. And then let's go ahead and look at the January close checklist to see what else they would like to tell you needs to be done. So yes, you need to reconcile. We did this, we can check it off. You would need to reconcile the rest of the bank accounts. Review the transfers between bank accounts. Review unlinked credit card payments. There was a credit card payment, but I didn't have the credit card expenses associated. So that's one thing. Review any payroll, which is not connected. Identify investments, identify loans. Review spending for anything uncategorized, revenue uncategorized, reimbursements uncategorized. This is kind of just doing an accuracy check basically to see is there anything that we haven't included or anything that we haven't coded correctly. That's what we usually do in a financials review. So once you pull your P&L, I would look at that to see, is there anything that looks like it's in the wrong category, or is it is there anything uncategorized on the P&L? You review for that. Okay, and then it's saying talk about if there's any new fixed assets, review your P&L, and then balance sheet. This is kind of what gets into a little bit more of identifying what you do next after you've done your books. What does the business actually need to do? And then right now it says that 96% is finalized. So finalized transactions, I'm curious if it'll tell me which transactions are not finalized, because I thought they were. So, okay, so it did give me the ones. Oh, these were the ones that I was hoping that it would come back and do. So it did. Okay, that's great. So that's nice that it tells you what you need to finish. So we're gonna finalize those. We've done that. And then you can go through and check these. I do like the little close checklist. I think that's helpful. I like that. So now if we go back to our dashboard, we should be seeing that January is complete. So we have a check mark. We're good to go. January is finished. The closed checklist is not there anymore. I think I can go here and find that, which I can, and I can do a little drop down for which month I want to look at. So that's nice. So, okay. All things considered, I like the closed checklist part of this. I don't like the fact that there's not a general reporting area where I can go and pull all sorts of different reports. I'm really not happy with the bank feeds section of Puzzle. That was really frustrating to me. This video is much longer than I thought it should be, but that is how you do a month of bookkeeping in Puzzle. Hopefully this is helpful to you as you're thinking about making a switch and as you're thinking about alternatives to QuickBooks Online. I would say, I hope this feedback gets into the right hands. And let me know what your experience is. If you are not seeing some of the things that I'm seeing, I would love to know. But overall, I wish you the best of luck. If you want to try Puzzle for yourself and get a free trial, you can go to financialtechlab.com/puzzle. And we're going to keep testing more software here on the channel. So stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. All right, bye everybody.